Hey everybody, Colin here. Welcome back to Page by Page. So one of my favorite booktubers, Bill Rutenberg, he commented and said that I should show my bookshelf on in one of my videos. So thanks for the idea, Bill. Definitely go check him out. Bill Rutenberg is his name on YouTube. He's a great YouTuber. I love him a lot, especially if you're into history books. He covers a lot of history, nonfiction, stuff like that. He does a little bit of fiction, but his stuff is really geared around a lot of history and mainly Civil War. So if you're into that type of books and reviews, go subscribe to him. Great channel. Definitely love it. And if you're watching, Bill, thanks a lot for the idea. So yeah, I figure I will use this video to go through my books. This is my office. This bookshelf to my left is mine, and this other one is my mom's books. So I'll be showing you the books in this bookshelf in this video. I do have a ton of books in my room. Most of those are books I've already read. So a lot of the stuff on this shelf is my TBR, to be read. There are a few books I've either started or read parts of, or I'm working through very, very slowly. And in addition to the books I'm actually reading through. But a lot of the books in this video are going to be stuff that I still have to read. If you want me to show the books in my room, leave a comment, hit me up. Tell me if you want me to do that. But a lot of those I have already read in the past, and it's kind of chaotic. It's not as well organized as this one, so... without further ado, let's get to it. So the bookshelf is pretty full. So here are books I showed in my book haul earlier. They're still in the bag because I don't really have anywhere to put them right now. But here is my bookshelf. Yep. We got some random stuff on top of it. That's kind of not mine, but it's up there anyways. But yeah, here it is. It's not crazy impressive. It's just a collection of books that I need to get around to reading. I have a lot more in my room, but this is just stuff that, you know, I have easily the ability to just pick out a book and start reading at my desk right here. So, yeah, let's start off. Up at the top, I just picked these out because I thought they kind of looked cool together. I got this at a library haul. This one's pretty cool. It's called The History of the Plantagenets by Thomas Costain. Pretty cool. Canadian author. I think it was like $4 or $5 for this entire set, and it's pretty cool. They're older books. It's kind of hard to get out, but yeah, nice set of books about something I don't read about a lot, medieval history. So I thought that'd be interesting to pick up. Pretty cool. This is what the volumes look like outside of the case. It's really cool. Little book. It's got a nice design on the cover. It's got some maps in there. I have read the first in this series, which is called The Conquering Family, which takes you from the start of the dynasty with the civil war between Stephen and I can't remember her name, but it goes all the way through, I believe, King John. So yeah, that was a great book. I can't wait to get to the other three. So then we have Reveal in Washington by Margaret Leach. This is a very interesting book, and I love the case. Her signature is actually printed in it, so I was like, is this thing signed? And when I got home, I kind of looked at it, and I figured out it was actually published after she died. So yeah, it's not signed, it's just been printed on, but it's still a really cool looking book and a nice cover. It's got a lot of cool pictures in it. You've got like a picture of Washington on the outside, but it's about like Washington D.C. in the time of the Civil War. So you get a lot of stuff about the Lincoln family. You get stuff about Winfield Scott, who's one of my favorite generals. You get a ton of great information about that. So yeah, General Lee's Army, written by Joseph Glothar, who's a professor at UNC. I thought that was pretty cool. I picked it up at the library sale as well. This is the one I went to in Fayetteville back in February. So I thought that'd be interesting. I'm really big on General Lee's Army, Army in Northern Virginia. That's one of my favorite things to study. We also got Biblical Theology, a book by Gerhardus Voss. I haven't read a lot of theology, and this is my first one, and I'm very slowly working through it. So any theology recommendations or books on religion, recommend them. Of course, I got Europe Central and Melville's Library of America edition up here, which I've shown in previous videos. Alright, so this top shelf is basically what I call my Civil War book club. Me and my mother are kind of starting to collect Civil War books. So that's what this section is dedicated to. This is by Horace Porter, which is a guy that was really close to Ulysses S. Grant. So this book is basically about Grant from one of his contemporaries. So I thought it was too cool not to pick it up. Actually, I forgot about this, but in here is a cool little pamphlet about the Battle of Arisboro, which is very close to where I live. Cool little skirmish right before Bentonville, so that's interesting. Right here is probably my crown jewel of my collection. I at least love the first two books. I need to read the third one, but Lee's Lieutenants by Douglas Southall Freeman. I mean, what a wonderful collection, a wonderful history of the Army of Northern Virginia. I mean, you don't get better historical writing than this book right here, and that's a hill I'll die on. I mean, Freeman researched like a madman. I would recommend anyone with any Civil War interest whatsoever to read these books. And there's an abridged version. I've not read it, but try to find a cheap copy or a cheap find of these 3 volumes. You need all 3 volumes. It's incredible. I got this on Amazon actually for like $39, so great find. Then of course you have to have some Bruce Catton. Now I haven't read him at all, but you hear a lot about Bruce Catton. I mean, he's one of the most respected writers of the Civil War. I mean, I got his General Civil War book, and I got his Army of the Potomac trilogy, which I got for $12. I thought that's a pretty good find. The books are in pretty good condition too. I mean, they're obviously old. You can tell they're old and worn, but very readable, and I was very hyped to find them in such a great condition for such a great price. So from what I know, he's pretty much the Freeman for Northern history. Then I have 2 books, 2 fiction books. Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. This is the older edition. This is my mom's book, and this one is as well. This Book of Lost Friends by Lisa Wingate. I have not read this one. My mom said it was very good. So definitely sounds like a very interesting fiction book. And here I have 3 books by Craig Simmons. Craig Simmons is pretty good. I read his Confederate Admiral, which is about Franklin Buchanan, who was an admiral in the Confederacy, the foremost, and he had an incredible story. I mean, this book is wonderful. So if you want to start with the Simmons, that one's great. I haven't read these other 2. One's on Patrick Cleburne, and the other is on Joseph E. Johnson, 2 figures that I love to study. So I assume if it's anything like the other book I had read by him, they're going to be great as well. Can't wait to get my hands on that one and read through it. Then we have The Civil War in North Carolina by John Barrett, I believe. Yeah. I picked this one up in a local battlefield. Being a North Carolinian, I love to study the state's history, especially in regards to the Civil War. One of my ancestors fought in the 56 North Carolina, so anything I can get my hands on about the state especially is pretty cool. Next we have something my mom picked up, is Shelby Foote's trilogy of the Civil War. Now obviously anyone that knows anything about Civil War literature knows these books. I have not read them yet. It's a pretty daunting task. I mean, they're about 1,000 pages apiece. I mean, look at the size of this one. It is ridiculous. So I will have to get around, if I can get this out, to reading these eventually. He's kind of like not the most well-regarded historian. He's more of a journalist and fiction writer, but he definitely has his sources, and they've got some cool maps in here as well, so can't wait to get around to that one. And over here we have some more atlas-type things. This is just a historical atlas of the Civil War. I picked up for pretty cheap, and here's a giant atlas encyclopedia on the Confederacy. I mean, a ton of articles on the Confederacy. You got some cool stuff like slavery in the Confederacy, its role in it. You have tons of interesting articles written by historians about it. So it's definitely a great resource to have, especially when you're studying the Civil War. Up here we have just 2 fiction novels. You have Traveler by Richard Adams. I haven't read this one. My mom said that it wasn't great. She didn't really like, because Richard Adams is a British guy, so his grasp on Southern vernacular isn't great, and that was her biggest gripe with the book. But written from the perspective of Robert E. Lee's horse Traveler, so it sounds pretty cool. But I guess I'll have to read it before I have any thoughts on it. And then Jeff Shara, one of his novels I picked up pretty cheap, Last Full Measure. So I might, apparently that's not the first book, so I'll have to get the other ones. And then we got 2 books down here that are an extension of that Civil War library. One is this was published right after Lee died. Personal Reminiscences of General Robert E. Lee. And it gets a little hero worshipy at times, but, you know, why not? It's Robert E. Lee. I mean, he's one of my favorite historical figures. You got Rebel Brass. This is about the Confederate command system, how it operated. Pretty slim little book. I thought it'd be pretty cool. So now we're getting into just general stuff. This is be mostly fiction and a few historical books. Arabian Nights. I still need to read this one. I picked it up from Barnes & Noble. Of course, you got to have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe, which I still need to read. I got this pretty good. A good deal on this one. $10 for The British Are Coming by Rick Atkinson. So, ready for him to publish that trilogy. And I haven't really read any of these in this area. You got the Decameron, Wuthering Heights, Naked Lunch, Oh Pioneers. You know, just classics. I mean, Naked Lunch, I've read a bit of it, and it's very trippy, so that's going to be a fun read. But the Decameron, that's what I'm really interested in. So if you've read the Decameron, in this translation, it's Wayne Rebhorn's translation. If you've read that one, definitely comment and tell me how it is. So yeah, moving on to the next side. I don't know if you can see this one or not. But this, my girlfriend got me this for my birthday. I love it. It's the Canterbury Tales in plain and simple English by Geoffrey Chaucer, of course. Published by Book Caps. So this volume is interesting, pardon me, because it not only has the Old English Canterbury Tales, but it does have a translation to modern English as well. So I really wanted a copy of this, and my girlfriend was able to find one, so I'm thank you. I know she's probably watching this video. It's one of my favorite books on the shelf. Next we have some Tom Clancy books I still need to read. Red Rabbit, Red Storm Rising's The Sum of All Fears. I love Tom Clancy. I have a ton of his novels, and I've read several of them and love them all. So I know that Red Rabbit isn't very well regarded by a lot of Clancy fans, but I'm looking forward to Red Storm Rising. Everyone talks about how great it is. I believe it's about like World War III or something, but I love the Clancy that goes out and is so expansive that it's not just a one character's perspective. It's all over the place. You know, one of those global type novels. I love that. So I can't wait to read it. I showed Sabo Shun in one of my earlier videos. My girlfriend recommended this one, so I picked it up. I still need to read it. It's Euripides. It's got 4 of his plays in it. I've never read the Greeks, really, so that'll be interesting. And here's one of my favorite poetry books. My sister got me this for my birthday. I believe it was my birthday. Let Us Compare Mythologies. I'm a big Leonard Cohen fan. I love his music, and his poetry is great as well. So it's definitely one of my favorite collections. Here's The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. I am very upset because this is an abridged version. I got this at a library sale, so I spent $1 on it, so it didn't break the bank. But I found out that one of the most famous chapters is taken out of it. So it was a bit of a bummer. So if I'm going to, I might read it, and then if I like it, I might need to get an unabridged version. So here's the author I haven't read yet, but I have 2 of his books for some reason. Jonathan Franzen. I like postmodernism. I like I like Thomas Pynchon a lot. And a lot of Pynchon readers and a lot of readers of the fiction I like have said Jonathan Franzen is a pretty good writer. So I think I'm going to read Freedom first. So anyone's read that? Tell me how it is. Going over to the other side, the bottom shelf. This is my favorite poet of all time. And I'm slowly working my way through her poems. I mark each one I like. But Louise, I believe it's Glick. It might be Gluck, but she is an incredible poet. And I don't even really like a lot of more contemporary poetry. I like the romantic guys like Wordsworth and stuff like that. So, but I absolutely love Glick. So this is one of my favorites to just read through every now and then. So next we have my John Keegan section. I haven't read any of these, but Clancy likes Keegan, so you can't really go wrong with him, I don't think. I have his Civil War, the First World War, and then the Second World War. I can't wait to read these. I'm probably going to read the First World War first because I want to get to my book by Rommel. So I need that perspective on that. So sorry if that was blurry a bit. Then I have a Murakami book I haven't read yet. I've read a lot of Murakami, or not a lot. I've only read 2 of his novels, but I like him a lot, so that will be interesting to get to. Then we have The Crusades by Robert Payne. He was a pretty popular nonfiction writer from Britain. I got that for like, what was it, $3 off of Amazon from some small publisher in like Pennsylvania. I mean, I really haven't read anything about the Crusades other than Richard's Crusades, so I think it'll be interesting part of history that I really haven't gotten to yet. So I am looking forward to that one. That will be great. Ugh. And sorry, a sec, it's back. This I found at a library sale. Look at that cover. Is that not great? I know it's a little beat to death, but when I read this, I'm going to take the book cover off because it is old and beat up. But A Bridge Too Far, it's a military classic. I mean, I've read The Longest Day by Cornelius Ryan. Incredible. So I definitely can't wait to get to this one. I mean, the war in Europe is just such a subject, and the way the book looks and feels, I don't know, it just draws me to it. So that will be great. And of course, my Rommel, I've shown this one. Then I have the Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie. Now, I picked that up mainly because I heard of the fatwa against Rushdie. I heard how controversial he was in the world of Islam. So I just had to pick it up. I haven't read it yet. I've had it forever, but maybe if I get some inspiration from someone, I might pick it up and read it. But yeah, I've heard a lot about Rushdie, so I'm going to have to get The Midnight's Children and eventually and read that one and read this one. So yeah, in the final section of this tour. Now, this is one of the absolute biggest books in all of history. The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William Shirer. Now, this is a little beat up. You can see it's got its little nicks and stuff. It's got pencil markings a little bit on the outside. So it was a bit beat up, but it's a perfectly readable copy. I mean, obviously it's a huge book, but I mean, nothing wrong with it. It is perfectly readable. And I got this for $1. Now, you'll be lucky to find a new edition of this online for less than it's like $30 on Amazon for a new copy. So I was hyped to find a copy of this for $1, even though it is beat up. So I figure if I like it, I could just get, eventually get a nicer copy. But you can't, love history without reading this, especially if you're into World War II. So I've read sections, especially on the death of Rommel, and it's just a wonderful book. And I know that it's going to take up a month of my time, and it's going to be absolutely worth every moment. I'm not even going to try to put that one back in. So then we have 2 books by Jeremy Wade, which I really need to read eventually. I love River Monsters. It's such a great show. I don't know what about Jeremy Wade. He just has a certain charisma that I really love. So, yeah, I can't wait to get into this one and read about his, thoughts on fishing. I'm not really a big fisher. I do have a tackle box full of stuff. And, I can borrow a few rods and go fishing, but I haven't gotten too into it yet. But it makes me want to be a fisherman, watching his shows and, looking through his books. So I'm just a big Jeremy Wade fan, so I thought I would, I got them for Christmas one year, and I really need to get around to them, but I have so much on my plate, as you can probably tell by this video. This Harry Potter, these Harry Potters are not mine. This is my sister's or my mother's, I believe. But I have not read Harry Potter yet, so tell me if it's good or not. I know a lot of people love it. I just don't have the motivation to read it with all I have on my plate right now. So, I mean, the movies are great, but, the books, I don't know. These are up here. This is one book my mom recommended to me, and then here is my old copy of Lord of the Rings that I never read all the way through. But, for some reason, I found a good deal on Amazon and picked up the Lord of the Rings trilogy along with The Hobbit. Now, I have not read the trilogy yet. I think that on this reread I'll like it, but I did read The Hobbit, and it was incredible. I mean, what a novel. I loved every page of it. So I'm hoping that will inspire me to eventually, finish that Lord of the Rings and then continue on with the trilogy. I think now that I'm more into reading, because I really picked up this book at a time I wasn't into reading. So I think now it would be a lot easier for me to get through this trilogy. So we'll see. I mean, I probably will eventually, and I don't even know if I'll review it. It has such a great reputation. Is there even a reason to review Lord of the Rings? But I'll consider it. So once again, that was my bookshelf. Thank you very much to Bill Rutenberg for suggesting the idea. Great YouTuber. Go check him out. I'm very sorry if it got a bit rambly or if the shot was a bit wonky. I record with my iPhone. I don't have a sophisticated setup, so I was kind of holding my iPhone with one hand and messing with the books with the other. So if there was any weird shots or anything in there, it was blurry, I'm very sorry about that. But yeah, I just wanted to show, thought it would be nice to show what I have on my to-be-read list. If anyone's read any of these books, please leave a comment or, hit me up either way. Tell me what you thought of the books. And yeah, I'll definitely have to show my books in my room eventually. I don't know when I'll do that, but I might do that eventually because I've read a ton of good books in the past year. So maybe that will be of interest to the channel or the viewers of the channel. If the few that if they want to see it, I'll do it. I mean, this is for fun. I enjoy talking about my books. So I am currently reading through Truman by David McCullough. About 230 pages into it, so I'm taking it pretty easy right now. Great book so far. I really picked it up for Truman's presidency, but learning about his post political career, before his political career, his childhood upbringing, his work as a farmer, his local political jobs, it's been a lot more interesting than I thought. And I'm at the part where he's just become a senator now. So yeah, I might make a review on this one. I don't really know. I guess there is something to reviewing historical books, but I kind of guess that most of my reviews will be of fictional works. I'm also finishing up a biography of Bedford Forrest, and I am reading Prague Cemetery by Umberto Eco, which I am loving so far. I'm about a little over halfway through that one. I will probably leave a review for that on my channel, so you can look forward to that. Pretty soon I'm going to be going to a bookstore I really like. I might buy some books there, and if I figure it will be an interesting enough video, I'll probably make a video on that pretty soon. So yeah, for now, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. I really like how it's going so far. I'm not getting a ton of views. I got a few subscribers, but that's really what I want, is just, people who watch my videos, just a small community of them, just watch my videos for, and discuss books with me. I would like to see more comments though, I would like more interaction with my videos, maybe people saying what they think of certain books. So yeah, please do not be afraid to leave a comment. I will definitely respond to it. I love any discussion about books whatsoever. So if you're considering it or have any input whatsoever, a comment would definitely be appreciated. So thanks for listening to me ramble about books. Thanks for looking at some of the stuff that's in my library. If you've not made a video similar to this, I would recommend it. Show off some of your books that are on your TBR list. Show off books you have on your library, on your bookshelves. So please do that, and I would be glad to watch. But I think this video is going long enough, so for now, thanks for watching, and bye.